Good morning. It's Freedom Talk with Phil. I'm Phil Parrish, and you don't need permission to speak freely. Let's do a little campaign review. It's Marvelous Monday. Up and at it. A little word of encouragement first. It's been a rough few weeks. And I'll go into more detail at the upcoming events this week, and there's a lot of events this week. But the level of courage that I've witnessed in people across the state is inspiring. And I'm hoping that and praying that this level of courage and perseverance and resilience continues to flourish and grow. We've had many tragedies here in Minnesota and across the nation. Everything from the assassination of Mrs. Representative Hortman and her husband, and the tragedy at Annunciation, and the families and their pain and grief, and then Charlie Kirk. The amount of pain and grief that we're all witnessing has really brought out and established a very clear path for discernment of those who day to day function with grace and mercy and love and kindness, and those who only pretend to be graceful and merciful. I've witnessed a lot of statements from one side of the discussion to the other. Some of the discussions are very disturbing because the level of unwillingness to step back and reflect on one's own behaviors and one's own paradigm or perception of what's going on and start coping with the truth. The truth is, we aren't all the same. There are people among us who don't think the same. None of us really think exactly the same. Our logic streams, our paradigms, our vision of the moment, what we see around us. By nature of our human condition and our own experience, we do see things through a different lens than the person standing next to us. We could be looking at the same scene, the same chain of events, hear and feel and sense the same moment in time, and have a completely different take on what has happened. And the greater majority, the true majority of all of us across the nation and around the world, but especially here in Minnesota, the true majority I'm very, very proud of, and I take comfort in knowing that there are truly good people among us, people of grace and mercy and dignity and respect, people of love and courage and resilience. We truly have a great majority of us who are very good people. Our society has nothing new. It's been since the beginning of time. And the human condition is a part of the dynamics that we're seeing across time in history and today and will be in the future. There are people who simply will take advantage of every opportunity to coerce, manipulate, exploit for power and greed, gluttony, darkness. There are people among us that will just simply capitalize on and exploit at every opportunity a way to stay in power or to gain advantage and to gain financial or supposed financial wealth over others. This is a part of our human condition. This is who we are. We could all be guilty of it. But take these moments in time to be courageous enough to discern right from wrong. And those among us who have exploited these tragedies and this pain and heartache, those who are exploiting that for political capital, for financial, to get clicks on a website, to get clicks on a platform that pays dividends for the amount of viewers. This is clear-eyed discernment. Those among us who are so cruel and blind and apparently just unaware, they have no self-awareness of how disgusting they've become, how they've made themselves the arbitrator of truth. They've almost made themselves God. One of the things that's wrong with our government here in Minnesota, too many people look to government as the answer. Look to some elected official as the person that will change everything, that will reduce the heartache, that will take away the pain, that will make days better and fun. And it's simply not the truth. The government will never replace our own God-given gifts to choose every day, wake up and choose right from wrong. Choose to be resilient. Choose to find the things in life that bring honor and courage and true joy. People that fixate. There's a beautiful eagle just passed by me there. That was wonderful to see. What a beautiful eagle. Wow. But people that choose to be negative and nasty and exploit other people's emotions while they're in pain, while they're suffering, while they're in despair, and then give them false hopes and false ideologies and false concepts to help them feel better about life, or help them think that everything's going to be fine if you just do this or you just do that. And what we're seeing among us is applicable to every aspect of our society. Everything from employment to energy, education, elder care, taxes. Hear me out. It's all the same principles are applicable to all these areas. And it comes down to people and relationships and honesty. To make it more relatable to everyone, think about that best teacher you've had, that one that really made a difference, that amazing parents that you can see it in the fruits of their labor with their children and families and friends, how their consistency in upholding good and honorable behaviors, and how it helps build a fabric of a resilient family and resilient children, positive children that can take on challenges. It's not fun. It's rewarding. It can be fun at times, but the objective cannot be to just be, oh, we're going to make you happy now, because loving, caring parents, leaders, educators, they know the truth. They know that just making someone happy temporarily at the moment, just to pacify their poor behaviors or their bad choices, that's not love and kindness and the right thing to do. Helping children, helping young adults, helping adults by encouraging them and uplifting them and giving them an example of behaviors that are positive and productive, and help weave together a fabric of resilience that builds a lifelong opportunity for young people to succeed. That is clearly what we are talking about getting after as we run for governor and Parrish for governor, and the Parrish team. And Mission 2026 is clearly about confronting the lies that we've been told, confronting the ill-intended behaviors of those who have exploited and manipulated and coerced people into believing and abiding by ideologies that are simply intellectually and morally broken. It's critical. It's got to be a discussion in our communities and in our dialogue, in our discourse across the spectrum. It has to become a part of our dialogue, that we've got to get back to communication, agendas, goals and objectives that build resilience, that build coping skills. And one of the ways that we do that, I know I'm not alone, you're not alone, you can see it too, the people who are truly good at building that resilient fabric of taking on the weakest parts of our human condition and growing the strongest parts of our human condition. We know, the majority knows. And what is interesting, and I've written several articles about this in the last several weeks, but especially the last few days, about how those of ill intent twist words, manipulate you with words. Words have meaning. One of the articles I wrote, if you go to the news tab, is called Words That Wound. The title is supposed to grab your attention, and it might, at first, you might not perceive the intent of the article, but I hope you read entirety of Words That Wound. You can get to it on the news tab on parrishformn.com, and I hope you do, because we must confront the people among us, and it's the small amount of people among us who use words in a way that is intentionally manipulative and exploitive. It intentionally plays at the very weaknesses of our human condition. And there's a gentleman I've been interacting with on X. Won't say his name publicly right now because I'll leave it to him to reach out to me, which he has partly, but I gave him my phone number, and I hope he does reach out to me because he does have something to say. And that dialogue starts with people listening, and that's why we've had success on Team Parrish and my campaign, our campaign. We've had success because the first thing any good teacher, any good leader, any good parent does is listen, observe, try to properly discern what is actually going on in any one given situation. And if you perceive something wrong or you've come to a false conclusion, good, honorable people will self-reflect and take that on and make adjustments to understand and comprehend any given moment or any given circumstance. They'll back up and rewind if they're wrong, they perceived something wrong and came to a false conclusion. They'll back up, rewind, and figure out what the truth is. In our society, between social media and a legacy media, there is unfortunately, and I know, I guarantee you there's marvelous, wonderful people in the legacy media. I know there are. But unfortunately in the legacy media, there are people who are doing the bidding of or compromised by money, big money, and clicks, and a person or two pushing agendas by a pay-to-play system. And that pay-to-play system, they don't really care about the true majority. They don't really care about the true public sentiment. They will tell you what they believe is the public sentiment or the majority, and they are simply wrong, and they've been wrong for a long time. And as I've gone across the state, top to bottom, side to side, and just here on Saturday, 600 miles and 2 events and 16-hour day, meeting with people, talking with people, listening to what they're seeing and hearing. I am telling you from real time on the ground, the very unhappy, negative, nasty things that are being projected onto us by a very small minority of our public, and minority meaning the word tiny, very few, nothing to do with race, color, creed, or gender, but this tiny group of people who are being paid and incentivized to say or project agendas or perceptions that are simply not the majority. It's very evident in first-hand accounts across the state. And now, having really gotten out there and really getting on top of events since May of this year, I am telling you, the majority of Minnesota, they're waking up to the reality of how badly we have all been lied to and manipulated and exploited. And those of you that feel powerless to combat that, be of hope and courage. You are making a difference, one conversation at a time, one healing of a relationship at a time. You are making a difference. Be of courage and be of hope. There is great hope in what's going on. God, our Father in heaven, Jesus, the Holy Spirit is moving. We've seen it. You've felt it. Is there pain? Is there sadness? Is there question and doubt? Absolutely. That's part of who we are. That's part of the fabric of who we are. But we take that on with honesty and dignity and courage, and we we don't use it as excuses. We don't use it as a way to hide from getting after life, in a more productive and honest way. Those who are truly helping the fabric of our communities, they take on the tough conversations. They take on the disappointments. They help demonstrate to our young people how to be resilient and recover and get up and try again. And I'm going to tell some personal stories in the coming events. I'm going to share a personal story of not just in our family, our personal family, but in families of people that have walked up to me in a lot of pain and sadness and expressed how they're coping, what they do to get through the day, and how that courage and wisdom and resilience is making a difference in their communities. The thing is you never know whose life you're touching. That young person, even adults who are stepping back and they're noticing something and they're saying, wow, everything that person's going through, how are they getting through that in a positive and a productive way? These things matter. And to my friend who's been reaching out to me, I call him my friend because he's having a dialogue. He's having the courage to say, hey, I don't see it that way, I see it this way. And I don't agree with his point of view at the moment. There's parts of what he is saying is true. But I want that dialogue to continue because confronting these ill-intended behaviors is extremely important. And it's the only way Minnesota is going to grow and heal and get back to a fabric of our communities that needs to be restored and be more resilient. Appeasing ill-intended people, appeasing people who are innocent in their behavior is not kindness, nor is it loving. Appeasing behaviors that are counterproductive, unhealthy, and inappropriate, appeasing them and making them think everything's fine, all will be well, is not honesty. It's not courageous. It's not love. The most loving thing, and the majority know this, the most loving thing are those moments when you walk up to your child or your friend or your colleague and say, this behavior needs to stop. It is causing a problem with not just the community around you, but your own life. I can make you temporarily feel happy, but that's the wrong approach, and it's the wrong paradigm. It's the wrong mindset. So in these courageous stories that I'm going to share with you on the campaign trail in the coming weeks, one of the personal stories I'll have to have permission from the person to share because it would not be appropriate to embarrass the person, but the disappointment and accepting ownership for the behavior and the courage and the resilience to get past it and keep trying, that is the powerful, powerful lesson. I made the beginning of the show titled Marvelous Monday, and it is Marvelous Monday. You can wake up Monday mornings and you can say, oh goodness, it's Monday again. And then you look to Wednesday, and Wednesday's sometimes called hump day, getting past the grind of the week. And then Friday is kind of lightened up and you have all kinds of fun. Well, although that's a nice sentiment, the bottom line is every day can be Marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday, thrilling Thursday, fabulous Friday, Super Saturday. Sunday could be let the sun shine in. Let the light come. We are all fighting for the same thing. We are all fighting to grow and learn and have a meaningful life, a purpose-driven life. I know what drives me, and I know what gives my life purpose. It's not my place to impose on others how I find purpose and what my purpose that drives me. It's not my job to force that upon anyone. But that's the key difference. If you take the time to listen to this video and think through this, that is the key difference between the true majority and this tiny minority of people. You have an open invitation to find ways to grow and learn, become resilient, have good coping skills, and build a fabric of our society in a positive, productive way. And those among us, the few among us, who choose to be negative and filled with darkness, it is a choice. Now, are some unwitting and unknowing at times? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, the true majority, they know it's a choice. And the difference between that true majority that knows it's a choice and that tiny minority that likes to amplify themselves with emotions and money and false promises, we are clear-eyed and we can see through this. Light is shining on those of good intent, and light is clearly shining on those of ill intent. We are different, but it's not our color of skin, it's not our race, color, or creed, or gender. It's the basic core value of the person. And if the core values of the person are centered on darkness, and you take the time to actually step back and observe their behaviors, you will see, you will discern right from wrong. So my prayer for all of us on this marvelous Monday is that our Father in heaven continues to bring light to what is right and good, the truth, and that those living in darkness, that those who are unwittingly living in darkness, that they have an open invitation to come away from that darkness and start looking to those who spread light, who spread truth, and with decency and dignity and kindness, open their eyes to the truth. And those who are truly of ill intent and truly set on a dark path, all we can do is pray for them. That's all we can do. And I know that's frustrating, but that is all you can do. But discerning right from wrong is extremely important, and you have the right and the responsibility to stand up to what is wrong. And my prayer for all of us is that our Father in heaven and Jesus and the Holy Spirit gives us the courage and resilience to continue to stand firmly against wrong and look to the light. This is Philip Parrish. I am candidate for governor of Minnesota. This is Freedom Talk with Phil, and you don't need permission to speak freely. Talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. God bless.